A really good week for money and earnings because I've been on my multi-drop, but the van is starting to worry me with the water leak, so that needs sorting ASAP. Morning, 24th of May today, and I'm off to work. It's Wednesday. I'm pretty much multi-dropping all week this week. Last 2 days have been fairly easy and straightforward. I've been on the kind of Cheshire High Peaks run, so you kind of do a couple of drops in the Manchester area on your way out, and then you kind of go to South Manchester near the airport, make your way out to Alderley Edge, Wilmslow, those areas, Macclesfield, then up towards Buxton. Some of the places that we deliver are sometimes quite remote, but on the whole you don't tend to have as many drops, so your mileage is a little higher, not much, but probably 5 or 6 drops less. And I've been getting kind of done for about 4 o'clock, so I presume I'll be on a similar run today because they've got a driver off, and then the driver who normally does this run is covering that driver that's off, and I'm covering his run. So that's the way it works. The reason why he's doing that run and not me is because that run has a collection every night at 5 p.m. that has to go back to the depot. So they don't ask me to do that because means I'd have to trek all the way back to the depot every night, which is pretty good. I'd do it if they asked me to, but the chance to get home at a good time is fair enough to me. But if you watched the last video, I did mention about an engine water temperature warning, which turned out to be not enough water in the system, and I had it again yesterday, and when I stopped again the water level had gone down. So I've kind of investigated it a bit myself because I was a bit worried now, because at first it was a one-off, now it appears to be, losing water, and I was a bit concerned had the head gone, but no, I've checked the oil, and the oil's just where it should be. It doesn't appear to have any water mixed with it. So I topped the system off outside the house and ran the engine whilst getting underneath and looking to see if I could see if any water was coming out. And it's only when the engine's running and there's a drip coming from the middle, but at the back of the engine, if you imagine towards the driver, and it's just like a little drip that comes down. So obviously gradually over a few days that takes the water level down, but thankfully it doesn't appear to be coming from the area where the water pump is, because I had the water pump replaced about 8 months ago. You can't see because half of it's covered by trays and things, but it's kind of towards the back, so it might be something to do with the heater. I'm not an expert, but I'm not as worried because it's a leak. It doesn't appear to be a gasket or anything like that, so it's gonna have to go in to get it investigated properly. But I can still use the van as long as I keep the water topped up. There's obviously, I'm not putting coolant in, I'm not wasting money and putting antifreeze in it at the moment. The temperature doesn't warrant it anyway outside, because I'm just going to lose it, aren't I? So I'm going to ring the garage today and book it in, if I can, for Tuesday after bank holiday. But I can still use the van. It runs absolutely fine. It does give you a warning, when the coolant level was too low. But I have brought out plenty of water with me today, just in case. I chopped it up last night and ran it for a bit, and then this morning I've checked it before I've set off, and it's not dropped at all. So it appears to be only dripping water, and it's not gushing out when the engine's running. So it must be under more pressure then, I presume. Anyway, so that's it'll go into the garage. But if anybody is familiar with these vehicles, it is a Citroen Relay, which I think is pretty much the same as a Peugeot Boxer. Please let me know if you can think what it'll be. Someone has speculated the heater matrix, maybe, don't know, but you know, it's obviously going to cost money to fix, but that's just by the by. But it's a lot cheaper than having your head redone, isn't it? And the engine, the vehicle itself is running fine. But any opinions would be welcome. Stick them in the old comments. It's a lovely day again today. Looks like it's got the makers of a nice day. There's a few clouds up there, but it's still pretty warm, pretty nice. Good day to be out working. Not too hot, but not freezing your nadgers off. And again, this particular gig I've got has been a lifesaver. Again, speaking to people who are working day in, day out on the Courier exchange. You know, it's a bit of a struggle finding work for a good price. There's work out there, but it's so competitive that, you know, people are being forced to bid low, which, you know, if everyone could just hold the guns a bit, you know, it might be a little bit better. But I understand why people do it. And, you know, I'm not in that position myself. I'm lucky I've got this gig at the moment. But you need to run your vehicle at so much per mile, or a minimum charge, to make yourself a living. You know, there's no point in bidding for a job just to get the job. You do this to earn a living, this job. Yes, it doesn't, this job, for whatever people may think, it doesn't pay magnificent money on the whole because of your overheads. But you want to earn a wage out of it, don't you? You know, that's what you definitely want to do, is earn a wage. So think before you bid, don't panic bid. The market price on the whole is dictated by us. We are the people who bid for the work. But, you know, it's easy for me to say that at the moment. I've managed to land myself a gig that's giving me a really good rate, better than I've ever had before, a guaranteed amount per day. And, you know, you can sit here on your Ivy Tower and think, oh well, but this won't last forever, nothing ever does. And when I do get back to occasionally having to bid on the Courier exchange, you know, I'm hoping things will improve. I'm hearing tales all over of people giving up the job. I mean, obviously I contact all the time the other YouTube guys. We have our own like WhatsApp group, and we keep in touch and share ideas. And, you know, lots of them are saying that people who follow their channel, there are people who are saying, look, I'm packing it in, it's just not paying. So if you're thinking of doing it, being a courier, remember the Courier exchange is just a very, very starting point. It'll get you work, but it won't get you well-paid work. The better work is the work you get yourself. And you need to, once you're in, start networking, start reaching out to big shippers who perhaps you can use you direct. Start reaching out to companies who think, you know, if you think you can offer them a decent service. And it's not hard, because it's not hard to do and reach out, but it is hard to get the customers, I should say, because nearly all of them have already got their own transport suppliers. So you're competing against everybody else. So don't think coming on the Courier Exchange will be the answer to the problem, because it's not. It's not, and it is bloody expensive to join as well. So if you join and you've never got any work of your own, yes, you will get work if you bid, although I've seen examples of people not getting any work. But that work will not be the best paying work. Anyway, I've said all this before, but I think it's important to just reinforce the message. I'll carry on. I'll round the week off if anything decent happens, but if anybody's got any ideas about that water leak before I take it in on Tuesday, or hopefully Tuesday, I'd welcome your input. Thank you. Good morning. It's Friday, the 26th of May, on my way in on the old multi-drop again. And it is 5 to 7 in the morning. It's going to be a bright day, I think. It looks pretty nice here in the northwest. It's been pretty much same old most of the week. Nothing too strenuous. The run has been quite good, and I've been on this Cheshire and High Peaks run, which I quite enjoy. The scenery is absolutely marvellous. I know it's not all about the scenery, it's about earning money, but you might as well enjoy the view while you're at it. Now, the van is still leaking water. I think it's getting progressively worse. So it does definitely need some attention. It's going in on Tuesday, as I mentioned. So I won't be available for work on Tuesday. They know this. They just told me to ring them when I know more. I can still run it and I can still use it, but obviously I'm travelling with water, and every so often I'm just lifting the bonnet and checking the water levels, because obviously I don't want the thing overheating, because then that could cause more damage. Yesterday I was in the office of the people who give me the work, which is a large national carrier, and I've got quite friendly with them because obviously I'm in most days. And it was interesting because they were very busy, so they were posting work on the Courier Exchange. Now, it's a national company, so I think they have one account, and then each of the branches, nominated people, could put work on the Courier Exchange. And it was for, everything from an Arctic down to a small van. Work was getting posted. And it was fascinating to see the bids coming back, because it's not something that you see yourself as a driver, because obviously I'm looking at always from the other side, that the work being posted, and I bid on it when I'm using the Courier Exchange, that is. But one thing I did notice, and one thing they commented on, is just how low bids are coming in nowadays. Large vans, long wheelbase vans, people bidding at like 85 pence a mile. Why? I mean, they commented on it and they said they don't always go for those low quotes because they want to make sure that the job's done properly. So they tend to favour people whom they've used before. So they always look out for drivers, self-employed drivers who perhaps have done work for them in the past and done a reasonable job, and then they'll look at feedback if it's someone that they don't know. But the low bids that come in, I mean, I don't understand. These are jobs that would be probably someone's main job for the day, and if you're running a long wheelbase van and you're bidding 85 pence a mile, these are not backloads, these are hot shots. How are you making that pay? I know fuel's come down a bit, but that's ridiculous. So it just goes to show what it's like out there at the moment. I mean, I've been lucky I'm not bidding on the Courier Exchange, am I? And I might, when this ends, have issues, because at the moment now I've got next to no feedback, because I've been just doing this every day. I mean, this might carry on indefinitely, I don't know, but I'm sure they'll get quiet at some point and they won't need me. Much as they might love me, they're not going to give me money for nothing. So people. It's grim out there. I mean, I've looked on the feed this morning before I came in, just out of curiosity, because I've had the feed switched off. There's no need for notifications for me because I can't bid on anything. And there was quite a bit of work on now. There's a couple of ADR jobs that I might have bid on. But would I have got those bids? I'm not too sure. If you look at the YouTube channels for the guys who use the Courier exchange a lot, so that would be the Saintsman, Tall Man, Small Van, Tom from TG Logistics, and Neil from Neptune, although he does have quite a bit of his own work now. All of them have been finding it difficult to secure work for a decent price. They're all earning and they're all working, some more successfully than others, but you know, they all share the same opinion that the prices per mile are lower than they really should be. And who dictates it? Who puts those prices in? We do. Yes, because we're trying to compete against someone else because we want the job. But as I said earlier on, without wanting to sound too boring, you've got to bid for what you need to earn a living. It's not just your running costs you've got to meet, you've got to find yourself a wage as well. So, fingers crossed it picks up. I know some people are giving up the game and some people have been very disappointed and maybe finding other sources of work as well as doing this, perhaps hoping that it'll pick up after, but it is hard. It's really hard out there. Might have mentioned it before, but Anvil Logistics Limited now have an Instagram, so I try and put bits and bats on there, you know, what we're doing and showing the type of loads I'm carrying. And I've also, when you open an Instagram page, it looks and finds for you people in a similar field that you're in. So, you know, I've also been following other people's Instagram pages now, quite a few, and it's interesting seeing what everyone else is getting up to. Some of them are people who follow my channel, I've noticed, so I'm following all of them back. And some of them are people I've never heard of, but it is fascinating to see the different types of work that they're all doing. So if you fancy following Anvil Logistics, just go onto Instagram, look us up, and just follow it. And I will post work from time to time that we do. Obviously I don't post work to do because I'm not a shipper. And I've mentioned now to cause for celebration for my friend James, Hargreaves Freight Limited, who did his ADR course yonks ago, and this week he's done his first ADR job. That just shows the way things are going. It's took him this long. In fairness, he does have a regular gig of his own working out of Manchester Airport, so he is quite busy on that. But it's took him till now to secure his first ADR job. So well done, Skeletor, on getting your first ADR job. May that be the first of many. Anyway, I'll round off this video later on this afternoon when I square everything off. Right, it's still Friday. It's Friday afternoon. It is 3:45. I'm all finished. I'm all done. I do have collections on the van, and ordinarily I'd have to take them back tonight because I'm not in on Tuesday. The van's going in, so I'd have to take them back tonight. But the M60 is shut, and it said on the sat nav that it was going to take me 1 hour and 45 minutes to get to Lee from Ashton, where I am now. And I rang up the depot and said, do I really have to bring these back tonight? Can I bring them back tomorrow morning maybe? And they said, yeah, that's fine, just bring them back in the morning. Normally I'd take them in on the Tuesday with me, but I'm not in, so I do need to return them. And the van is going into the garage to get this bloody water leak looked at. It is getting worse as the time is going on, and it's getting a bit concerning now. Still runs fine, and I'm keeping it topped up with water, but I am having to put quite a bit of water in it. So wherever the leak is, which I think is the back end of the engine, possibly near the heater business, and hopefully they can, first of all, identify where the leak is. They said if they can fix it there and then, they will. If not, they'll at least identify the problem and order the required parts. As I said, don't think it's a head or anything like that. It is a leak. So, who knows? But again, if anyone puts any comments or suggestions in, they'd be most welcome. Because I'm not until Tuesday, and this video will be out either tonight or tomorrow. So, if any comments come on, at least I might get a better idea. As I say, it's a Citroen Relay. Now, when I was on my run before, I only happened to drop one of my drops near where James's customer is, James from Freddie Fletcher Limited, and there he was, loading up, and took a cheeky picture of him. Now, you see that he's actually been up there since something like just after midnight, and that was about 2 in the afternoon, and he just got back to load up ready for next week. I did actually video him at first, but then I realised that the video was actually showing the name of his customer, and I didn't want to show that because he has been the victim, I think he mentioned on his own channel, of a bit of poaching by someone. So I didn't want to put the name of his customer and invite the same person to potentially poach again. So I don't know if they watch my channel. I haven't got a clue. But I decided not to scrap that video. Just put that little picture of him up there. But he's a grafter, that lad. He's a grafter. I know he's had a good week this week, but he's worked hard for every penny of that. And he's also gone well over 1,000 subscribers now on his own channel. In fact, he might have even gone past me now. But I think he deserves it. His channel is very interesting, and he does post work as well as do work. So, you know, he's got a bit more interesting content than I've got. And the thing is, for me at the moment, with me being mainly doing this multi-drop ADR run, which does pay me really good money, I'm not working on the CX at all, so I'm unable to comment really on how it's going. I'm relying on what the other guys are telling me, and yes, it's the right thing to do, is get your own work. But then again, for people who want to come on the CX, which at the moment I wouldn't advise doing, I'm not giving you as much information as possibly you could do with, you know what I mean? So, but as regards content, someone actually mentioned to me, you don't put Show Us Your Van on anymore. And there's no other reason that no one ever bothered sending me any other videos, so I didn't have anything to put on. So if you do feel that you'd be willing to do a Show Us Your Van, because I always think people find it interesting seeing the types of vans that people drive, what they do to get their work, and how that van works for them. I think it's interesting, especially if people potentially looking for a van. So anybody out there feels as though they fancy doing a little video clip, all you got to do is tell us about yourself, the type of van you drive, why you drive it, what's good about it, bit of a video show around it. And also, if you want to showcase your company and just give us a chat about what yourself, I think people will find it interesting what other people do, instead of just looking at the old bald fat fella rambling on about doing multi-drop all the time. You know, because essentially at the moment that's what I'm doing. I'll find out about the van Tuesday. It's going to be a bit of paying out involved, obviously, but that's what you budget money for. The van is my main tool, and I need it to do my tool. Oh, by the way, I managed to scrounge an official Freddie Fletcher pen. Well, I got two actually off him, and mine have been ordered. Now I've ordered some for myself as well, with Anvil Logistics on them. I don't know because I've got my own gig, I don't suppose I'll be any good, but I'll give it to some people in the office there, eh? So they don't forget me. But apart from that, things have gone well for me this week. I've had a good week financially. I've nursed the van through the week so I don't lose any money. I'm going to lose work on Tuesday because obviously they're going to look at it, and if they can repair it, if not, they're going to order the necessary parts. And hopefully I'll carry on working it, providing it's safe to use it, and he'll tell me properly if I can or not then. Fingers crossed it all works out okay. End of the month come in. So at the end of the month, I think it's Wednesday, I think this is the 31st. It's VAT again, gonna have to put all my VAT returns in and everything to the accountant. Well, I don't mind because I'll get some money back from that, won't I, a month later? Because I've switched over to flat rate now. And the reason for that is that I am not spending nearly, not even half of what I was spending on fuel before, but earning more money. So it makes more sense to be flat rate, because the VAT claim back on fuel is not worth it in compared where I can get roughly half of what I take in the VAT back. So come the end of June, I should be able to get about half of the money that's currently nestling in the reserve account back into the company's coffers. But the company's doing all right at the moment because we've had a good run with the multidrop. We've got some money in there, so it doesn't adversely affect me taking time off to sort the van out, and everybody should prepare for things like that anyway. Aside from that, I hope everybody is doing great. I hope that things are picking up for you. Everybody's got their own way of working, and not everything I do suits people. This multi-drop, when I first started, I didn't like it very much. I have got used to it now, but I think that's more because I appreciate the money I'm getting from it when other people are out there struggling. So I've got to be grateful for what I've got. It has been an absolute godsend for me, this. Now, I do work hard for them. You know, it's not easy. And the reason why I keep getting work from them is because I do a good job for them. I'm quite conscientious. I make it a mission to make sure I try and deliver everything. And if I don't deliver something, they know it's not for want of trying. I get in earlier than I should. I even help pick my run. And all that leaves a good impression. And therefore, they're giving me work and keeping me employed quite regular, aren't they? And I am really grateful for it. I've ordered some new high-vises because these are getting a bit scruffy. They should be here over the weekend. And apart from that, that's it. Please give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. It helps my videos get out more. And if my content helps people, then that's good enough for me. If you got any comments or get any questions, please put them in the comments page. I'll do my best to answer them. I've had quite a few questions recently which I've answered to the people directly, but I will again probably do another Q&A soon because I built up quite a few of those, and the answers I gave might be useful to other people, or some people might disagree with them and say, what are you talking about? You're talking rubbish there, fat man. Either way, I will put another one out soon. Have a great long weekend, everybody. The weather's supposed to be nice, and I'm going to be stuck in the garden because it still needs lots of work doing.